Alchemist Show. I am Tim Meyer talking with Stan Cook about the best ENG cameras. Alright, so to start us off, we'll get right into it with the best for cost. You got a Sony PXW Z190 with a 4K image quality, 25 times built-in zoom lens, automatic color correction, compact size, 1/3 inch CMOS sensor, a pretty cheap price for an ENG camera at $4,000 to $6,000, and weighs about 6 pounds.
And it looks like a decent camera, especially with the 25 times zoom lens. If that's an optical zoom, that is what you want because they won't have any artifacts when you do zoom in on something. An ENG is going to have zoom lens because if they're using a prime lens, like we were talking last time about cinema cameras, they have all the time in the world to change that lens. When you're shooting live news, you don't. So normally you're going to keep a zoom lens on so you can get any shot you want.
I just bring it up just real quick. For those who don't know, ENG stands for electronic news gathering. Those are the ones who go out in the news vans, typically to scenes where they ain't in a studio, and they have to get a camera that adapts to the right environment. So, moving on to what they use in the actual media industry, the best one, which is also the newest ENG camera, is the Panasonic AJ-CX4000 4K HDR, which stands for High Definition Recorder. It's got a 4K image quality, just like the Sony. It's claimed to have the most advanced networking functions, state-of-the-art broadcasting features like new Genlock features, wireless transmitting, live streaming capabilities. Two-thirds inch laser sensor, costs $25,000 to $30,000 and weighs pretty good for an ENG camera at 10 to 15 pounds.
That's pretty hefty. Was that with the lens or without?
That's with the lens that comes with it.
So here again, there's going to be a zoom lens on this. This one has the best imaging device that we're going to talk about out of the three. It's the biggest one. And it's still, comparing it to cinema camera, it's way off from what they're using. But you need it to be portable so you don't have those big sensors in these cameras, and they have to be light sensitive as well.
Yeah, these the news cameras that they always use for ENG have to be big because you can't have all those features built into a screen because you always got to keep your attention and focus on what you're actually recording live. So if you're wondering why those cameras are so big, that's the biggest reason. Moving on to a camera I've actually used frequently is a Sony PXW X320. It's a bit of an older camera. It's the oldest camera of the three, but I'm just bringing it up because I can compare it well to the other cameras to know what I've used. It's got the lowest quality at 1080 HD image quality, which is what usual video is recorded in high definition. It's got advanced noise reduction, flash band reduction, so if you're out recording where there's a bunch of photographers, you won't get their flashing lights back and forth across the lens. Higher image quality when you record on S/S cards, a 1/2 inch CMOS sensor, $12,000 to $20,000 cost, and weighs about 10 pounds for just the body, 15 plus with a lens that comes with it.
All right, so this is the smallest image sensor, which gives you the less quality. The other two can go 4K. Whether they do that or not, since if it's being used for news gathering, they may only broadcast in 1080 because they're trying to save bandwidth wherever they go. So they may set the camera to 1080. So you're using the $25,000 camera, they may set it for 1080, depends on exactly what they're doing and which station it's at. So the Sony PXWX320, how big of a camera is that one?
Like the size of it?
Yeah.
Relative to the other cameras, it's still a shoulder-mounted ENG, but it is a decent amount size shorter than the Panasonic. The Panasonic is a big, bulky, rectangular-shaped camera. If you ever think of like that stereotypical look for a news camera that pops in your head, that's what it is. The PXW, about, if you're having it on your shoulder, you got about 4 or 5 inches before you reach the back of it, and then forward you've got about a foot, I'd say. So it's probably about 2.5 feet to 3 feet long.
And what types of batteries are they using?
I believe that they use V-mount. All these are V-mount batteries. I do not know the voltage batteries that they require, but they are not standard camera batteries because these cameras require a ton of power.
Maybe an Anton Bauer battery?
I believe so. The one that I use with the PXW, we use some sort of other brand battery, which I don't know the exact name of it.
Okay. Well, the battery is going to give you a lot more. If you buy a higher capacity battery, it's going to be more weight that you're carrying around too. So if you're using the big boy, the Panasonic AG, your camera operator's usually going to be a bigger guy. With the other ones, it's a little more manageable, and some news stations even use smaller cameras that they just send out with reporters, and they kind of stand them up on tripod, do their intros and outros.
So of the three, which one would you most likely want, regardless of other than price, if that wasn't a factor?
If there's no factor, then I'd take the higher image quality. But I'd probably go with, realistically on a budget, you'd go with the top one, the 1/3 CMOS sensor. Even though the Sony PXW is in the ballpark, it's still quite a bit more.
Yeah, it's that it almost doubles the Sony PXW in price. It, in fact, does double it, depending on where you look. Sometimes even tripling it even. But what I do like is that the Sony PXW and the Panasonic, you have a lot more of the modern broadcast features that you don't get with the Sony. But yeah, other than that, if I had to pick between the three, I would probably, if I didn't have to worry about price, I'd probably either go with the Panasonic or the Sony, the PXW. But like I said, if price definitely was a factor, I think the Z190 is what you'd probably go with, most likely.
And depends on your crew. If you got a 1 or 2 person crew, you might want to go with the smaller one.
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
a lot. There's a lot more mobile, but you don't have the stability that you have with a shoulder-mounted camera. So if you had to say, let's say if you're following somebody on the street, or if you're walking through a building, you're gonna want that shoulder-mounted support that you get with the bigger cameras that you can't get with the Z190. So you have to definitely take into that factor, unless you want to use like a gimbal, a big gimbal, but that would make it more bulky. That's why shoulder-mounted cameras is all built in.
Mm-hmm.
So is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think we've done it for this week.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me about A&G cameras, and thank you for you guys from listening at home. Got all the materials. Have you done the research?
Yep.
Hey, are you doing okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just been a long day.
You want to talk about it? I promise I don't make fun of you. I just want to know what's up.
I don't know what's wrong. Lately, everything feels pointless. Like I'm stuck in a cycle and the same day is just stuck on loop. I keep having these thoughts and about how pointless it all is, and they won't stop.
Have you talked to somebody about all this?
No, everyone else thinks I'm fine.
So have you been having any thoughts worse than that? That's good. Bad you're feeling like that, but good it's not worse. I was in a similar position as you when my aunt died. I'm taking some antidepressants.
Isn't that stuff just for people who have really bad mental health problems?
No, medication can be for anyone with mental health issues. Therapy too. Some people go to therapy to help them cope with the stress of life. Here. Here's the number for my
psychiatrist. She might be able to help you try it out. Yeah, I think I'll talk to her. It felt nice just to talk to you. That's what friends are for. Hey, sorry for being late. I ran into Matt on the way here. Alright. So, I found something we could do here.
1 of 5 people deal with some kind of mental health problem. It's not uncommon and it's not invalid. If you're feeling forms of anxiety, depression, or other types of mental illness, visit NAMI.org to find centers near you to help you, or text NAMI to 741-741 for confidential crisis healing. You aren't alone, and together we can heal.
Hi, my name is Michael Moses. Today on the Alchemist Show, we are talking about top 9 sodas from the past. First one is Schweppes, originated from Geneva, Switzerland. The flavors are soda water, tonic water, dry ginger ale, and ginger beer. My favorite out of it is none, because I never tried it. The year it started around 1783. Yeah. Werner's Ginger Ale has no additional flavors and originated in the USA. Started around 1866. And then we got Hires Root Beer, which had flavors around cherry and vanilla and vodka. It originated in USA and the start year was 1876. Fire Venti, the flavors were soda water, green apple, apple, strawberry, and discontinued grape. Originated in Ecuador. Start year was 1878. Moxie. Moxie is the flavors are diet and vanilla. Originated in USA, and the date and the year was the 3rd of the 7th of 1885. The Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper has flavors around diet and original, because there's so many flavors from the future. I'm not going to talk about it. So the originated in Waco, Texas. That's how I say it. I don't know, but the date was the 12th of the 1st of 1885. Coca-Cola. Flavors are diet, zero sugar, and etc. Originated in USA. Start and date was the 5th of the 7th of 1886. Brad drink or Pepsi Cola or Pepsi. Flavors are diet and original. There's extra flavors, but I'm not talking about them. Originated in USA, start years was 1893, 1898, and 1961. Dang, that's 3 years, man. Barks Root Beer. Barks Root Beer originated in Biloxi, New Orleans, Louisiana. Diets were the flavors were diet red, French vanilla, and spiced cherry. Originated, which I already said. Started year was 1898. And that's all, folks. Well, that's all for me. Thanks for listening to the Alchemist Show. Michael Moses signing out.
was thinking we could get our workout on, like a little speedrun game.
Yeah, I'd be ready to do anything right about now. We could start with 100 push-ups and then 100 sit-ups.
That's a crazy amount of numbers for a short amount of time.
Alright, you win. My stomach hurts bad, probably from all those chips.
Yeah, all I had was soda, and all I did was shake it around in my belly.
I think it's time for a nap.
What'd you both do this time?
Huh. Ow. Not much. Ow.
You've been working out way too much, haven't you? Slow your roll before you're in a hole. The important thing is to take care of yourself and to have fun.
Hi, I'm Elena. This is the Alchemist show. I'm here with Justin Brewer, and today we'll be talking about what makes a great antagonist. Okay, so one of the things that is very important to an antagonist or just any character is their backstory. Particularly, I find villains who have a reason to be the way that they are very interesting and compelling, such as Voldemort from Harry Potter, who developed his hatred of Muggle-borns and half-bloods through having a Muggle father and then just being completely abandoned by his family.
Right. And another good example is Jason Todd from the Batman universe, Prince Zuko, Anna Zulu, Hugo.
Hugo's from Kipo and the Age of the Wonder Beast, which I know you haven't watched.
I'm getting there, though.
Yeah. His backstory is actually really interesting. Developing a hatred for humans. For those of you who haven't watched Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast, Hugo is a baboon who has enhanced intelligence and whatnot, and his quote-unquote father, the main protagonist's father, Hugo Oak, kind of got separated from him, and Hugo saw that as kind of abandonment and saw Leo, like, I believe how he sees it is he saw it as Leo chose Kipo over him, so kind of developed hatred for humans over that. Never blamed Kipo though, which was sweet.
I haven't necessarily seen him do much villainy, but what screen time I have seen him on, it's going to be interesting to say the least what is going to happen.
He's an interesting villain, that's for sure. Definitely puts crazy on a whole new level.
And the fact that he's a baboon kind of made me laugh a little bit, I'm not going to lie.
True, he's very interesting. He's a captivating villain, that's for sure. Another good thing that villains can do, or that a villain's background can do, is it can create that level of connection to the audience, like Hugo's background does, though I don't have him on our list, because that abandonment is something that a lot of people feel, which is relevant with a few of the other people that we keep mentioning on here, such as Jason Todd and Zuko, who both have that major abandonment.
And it was both physical and emotional, right?
Yes, yes, physical and emotional abandonment. Which I feel is a little stereotypical for villains, for them to just be continuously abandoned.
It is, and
I mean, it makes for an easy villain story. Like, oh, nobody cares about me. I'm gonna kill everyone. Like, that's basically how it goes.
yeah.
Or, oh, he won't give me love. Okay, I'll commit mass genocide so he will.
What's that? No love and affection? I'm gonna commit murder.
Yes, because we all know that works smashingly. Going off the whole committing genocide for parental affection, in case you didn't realize that those were all Zuko jokes. Villains being humanized or not necessarily humanized are both very good factors in making a good villain. When I say humans not being villainized, I mean villains like the Joker, Bellatrix Lestrange, Voldemort, Talia al Ghul. Those are all really good villains who are not humanized.
Oh, not in the slightest.
Yeah, Talia likes to act like she is, but we're not that stupid. I mean, the woman did try to kill her own son on multiple occasions. In fact, killed all of the failed children. Let's not forget that in the comics, or at least she tried to. She tried to. Yeah. And then I put Hannibal Lecter on there because I figured you would know about him. I know some about him, but I don't know too much.
Neither do I. All I know him is about the iconic, I'm gonna eat you with a nice Chianti and some fava beans. I think that's how that quote goes.
Yep.
Oh no, it ends with the.
Yeah, I feel like that perfectly represents this character. From what I've seen, he's maniacal. He's
He's a maniacal cannibal, 100%.
Yes, he's. Oh, I've seen a couple of clips. I watched a couple of clips so I would have an idea of what I was talking about. But oh, he seems like a good villain.
I know one clip where it is so gruesome, I don't think I can describe it. It's that bad.
Yeah, we shouldn't then. On the other hand, having a humanized villain, such as the ones that we continuously keep talking about, Jason Todd and Zuko, even though some people would argue those aren't villains, they were at one point an antagonist, so yes, we're keeping them on the list. Those two, again, with their, literally it's just their daddy issues that humanize them, which is amazing and horrible at the same time.
Which can make them relatable on some occasions, because, again, I think daddy issues is a very common thing.
Yeah, daddy...
Unfortunately.
Yeah. That kind of goes to another... It connects to another villain on the list, Lord Garmadon from Ninjago, who is the main protagonist, Lloyd's dad. You can already see that he's got daddy issues, so that's a hero with daddy issues. But Lord Garmadon, in the first couple of seasons that he's actually like a villain, you can see he does very much so care for Lloyd, and that is a connectable trait, especially to older audience viewers. So
Right.
it's a very redeemable quality, something you admire, because he spends all of the second season just trying to figure out a way that he can achieve his goals but not hurt his kid.
Right.
And that just dooms him in the end. Well, it dooms the Overlord's plan in the end, because Garmadon was just a puppet. Garmadon he's the villain archetype that they call a dragon, which is like the
Right,
fake big bad. That actually leads really well into the next topic, which is a relationship with a hero. Like we said, we talked about Lord Garmadon having that issue of not wanting to hurt his son, which goes both ways because Lloyd didn't want to hurt his dad either. So there was that, even though everybody was telling him you don't really have a choice, which sucked for that family dynamic.
Right, which was not really good at all. Kill your father. Is there a way I could do it? Not killing him. Nope, kill him. Okay, fine. Or no, kill him.
Ends up destroying a demon that's been there for the beginning of time and saving his dad. Hey, I did it. Because let's be honest, that's the entire plot of season 2 of Ninjago. Other villains that can lead to heroes having good emotional or moral conflict was Jason Todd. I definitely say Batman figuring out that was his second Robin resurrected was a very big emotional dilemma, whether or not Bruce showed it or not. Definitely.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, and going back to... Okay. All right. So that's about all we've got time for today. I'm Elena. I'm with Justin.
Yep.
And we're signing out.
4 minutes.
You're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Oh no, I forgot to check my email today. Ah! Oh no! Someone help! It hurts!
The mark of fire doesn't expire. Know all the ways to safely put out any type of fire. Visit the fire safety website at www.nsc.org for more tips. Welcome to the Alchemist Show. I'm Justin Wingeter, talking about the plot from all the Fast and Furious movies in the franchise. Today I'm here with Justin Brewer to discuss this, and I would kind of wanted to go over the statistics of the Fast and Furious film franchise. It was first based on illegal street racing, spying, and family and heist, and it has really grown. It has its own video games now, theme park attractions. This company, the franchise is owned by Universal Pictures. The first film was released in 2001. The franchise has grossed about $6 billion, which is really good. And it also kind of kickstarted the careers of Paul Walker, and it kind of helped satisfy Vin Diesel as well. So I kind of want to get in the first movie. The first movie was centered mostly around illegal street racing. Later on in the franchise, they kind of move away from that, but they also come back to it a little bit. The movie grossed about $100 million. Now, I'm going to see with Justin how he felt on that first movie.
I don't remember the first movie well, but I do remember it being pretty well about what it got what it was shot for, pretty much.
Mhm.
I got the feeling for it. I understand why a lot of people liked it. I saw this on a road trip up to Florida. Unfortunately, going to Florida, not the movie. I want to be clear about that.
Yeah.
And I remember it being pretty decent, and I remember it then I remember saying, "Oh, okay, now I understand why people like the franchise so much."
Yeah, it was definitely for car enthusiasts and that too, but it also brought in enough action to view in outside uh, attention as well.
Right.
And it was a good first movie. It did its job. It kickstarted the franchise.
Right.
Jumping into the second movie, Too Fast, Too Furious, it was made in 2003. It kind of fell a little short in the box office than the first movie, and again, critics kind of said it was like a spin-off rather than actual
entry.
sequel,
Right.
because it had nothing to do with the illegal street racing and and it didn't even center really around any of the characters from the first movie. This is where I think
Wait, when was this made again?
2003.
Okay, so
This is when Paul Walker works. His character works for that drug dealer somewhere in Miami, and they have to try to defeat him. But yeah, it felt like more of a spin-off than a sequel.
right, because I think there was one time in the line of how movie setups went where the original cast was, for at least like the original cast for sequels, they would not be included. That would be usually the thing that I noticed around movies that time.
Yeah, Vin Diesel did not star in this movie, and I think he didn't star in one other movie. I don't know which one that was, but he basically said he just didn't like the plot, and he said he needed the studios just to wait a little bit after the first one to make it more of a classic
Right.
before you do a sequel.
And that would make sense. And I kind of understand Vin Diesel's decision to do that. I would do the exact same thing
Yeah,
in this case.
let your movie grow first.
Right.
Yeah. So next we're gonna get to Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. This was made in 2006, and I think it really showed the Japanese side, the foreign side of car culture rather than American. That's basically what the whole movie pretty much is about. It barely had any of the original cast in it. Yeah, I think Vin Diesel made like a small appearance at the end, but that's pretty much it.
Again, I think that was still a thing happening with movies at that time where if it was a sequel, it would have been completely new slate.
Yeah. So yeah, it didn't really do good in the box office either. It was kind of a dud, but they really picked it up in the next movie, Fast and Furious, not to be mistaken with the Fast and Furious. They took the out of it. It was made in 2009. This kind of got away from the whole spin-off from the second two movies.
Right, and they made it like an actual main entry.
Yeah, like a sequel like they needed to. They also brought in a new director, Justin Lin. He really brought more action into it, and they kind of seemed to get away from the legal street racing and stuff like that, and started getting into their heist and family.
Right, and I'm assuming this is whenever they start going into the more where stop up-topping one another, where with the action scenes and we'll say iconic moments.
Yes. It gets really, really realistic later on.
It doesn't get more realistic. It's what's the word? Risky.
Risky, yeah. So that really picked up the franchise a lot. It did well in the box office. The next movie followed up really well as well, Fast 5, which was made in 2011. It got a lot of the original cast in it. It also brought in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, also, which was they kind of did it to bring more action into it, and it was still directed by Justin Lin,
Right,
who
makes sense because The Rock is technically a magnet for action.
yeah, it used a lot more vehicles as well, and it really looked like a good turning point for the franchise. Fast and Furious 6, I watched that movie. It was made in 2013. I kind of don't remember it a whole lot, but it was a good, like, baseline movie still. Like, they did good, and this didn't disappoint, but I don't think it did really amazing as well. It it was the biggest budgeted movie in the franchise before the other movies came out, but it did what it needed to do, pretty much.
And it says it was supposed to be the final.
Yeah, it was supposed to be. Yeah, I think it might have been the 7th or the 6th. That was the final Fast and Furious, but they kept that going.
That's the thing with car enthusiasts; they always want more.
Yes, they do. Also with action enthusiasts too.
Right, as well.
Yeah. Furious 7, which was I think one of the better movies, was made in 2015. Justin Lin actually stepped down, but they really kept the action up in it. It brung in new characters, but it also kept the original. It was action packed. You had plenty of good looking cars and stuff too. That's basically what the franchise was.
Right.
And it Fast and Furious 8 was made in 2015. Now this got really into the family aspect of Dominic Toretto and his family, because in this movie he turns on his family because he tries to save his child from a kidnapper that's trying to take over the world.
This is one of those movies where I've been meaning to watch it because I just coincidentally own.
Yeah. Well, sorry, that's all we have time today for. This has been Justin Wingeter and Justin Brewer. Thank you for watching, listening in.
I have schizophrenia and psychosis, and sometimes it makes it hard to tell what's real and not real, especially hearing. When people I don't know start to talk to me, they get in my personal space, and I start to panic and I hear voices. I just want to be left alone. The Alchemist Show.